So I'm sitting here eating this strawberry, and something came to mind. Something came to my mind. So I decided that, you know what? I want to ask you guys. I want to get a little context on this. So let's talk. Let's talk college football playoffs. BetUS is one of the safest online betting websites. Sportsbook, racebook, casino. They have quick deposit, casino hubs, my account, and you can always chat with support for any questions that you have. You have parlay bets, teaser bets, round robins. It has a built-in calculated method, so whatever amount of money that you're willing to risk on a game, it will give you the amount that you will win. And if you like me that like to play blackjack or any other casino games, this is the right place to be. BetUS. Click the link below. Okay, so the college football playoffs been around for a little bit now. Since what, 2014? A couple teams has been in it constantly. Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame a couple times, Oklahoma a couple times here and there. A couple teams have made an appearance or so. Oh, Ohio State's in there all the time too. Florida State made an appearance. Oregon. And LSU, oh, can't forget LSU, and Michigan recently, and even a group of five, Cincinnati. So, Georgia, yeah, the recent national champion. Okay, so glad that got that out the way, so nobody will come, well, you didn't mention my team, we made the playoffs. Oh, okay, congratulations. Now, playoffs. Let's talk about playoffs. Let's add some parity. Let's make this thing interesting. Now, what I want from you guys is list down below in the comments section, four teams. That's it. None of them, I repeat, none of them from the SEC. Yes, none of them from the SEC. Now, we all know every year the SEC has been represented in the playoffs, but this is not the SEC. This is my thing right here. So the SEC is not going to be a part of it. Okay, so let's get four teams together to play in the college football playoffs. Now, as you guys know, SEC has been in every one of them. We just said that, but there have been some conferences a couple years that has not been represented. Perfect example, 2020, Clemson and Notre Dame. Notre Dame was considered the ACC at the time. So two ACC teams made it in, and of course Alabama and Big Ten Ohio State. So conferences that don't get any representation, the Pac-12 and the Big 12. So let's do it without the SEC. So here's my preferable college football playoffs. Let's start with the ACC. Let's start with my biasness, my fandomness, the Miami Hurricanes out of the ACC. Here's where the haters get in the comment section and talk trash. You're more than welcome to. Now, let's move on over to the Pac-12, a conference that has pretty much been neglected for a minute now with the whole, playoff system or whatever. I think Oregon was in that thing one time, and then that was it. So let's throw USC in there. USC got a lot of buzz right now. They got this new Lincoln Riley guy, they're making a stir over there, So let's throw them in there. They haven't been there before. They haven't been around for a while, haven't done much. Let's just say Lincoln Riley has a miracle year. So now you put from the Pac-12, USC. Or if you don't want to go with USC, you could go with Utah. Yes, Utah. They have been, on the up, but let's just see if they can continue to do so. So let's just throw USC or Utah. You could go with either one. Let's move on over to the Big 12. at this moment, we're tired of Oklahoma. So scratch Oklahoma off the list. So now let's go to the other usual suspect, the one that will be moving over to the SEC, Texas. Everybody wants to see Texas back just as much as they want to see Miami back and USC back. So let's throw Texas in there. Now, the Big 12. Other than Texas, other than Oklahoma, who would you put in the college football playoffs? Maybe you want to go with West Virginia. It seems like they're the next best option, to be honest with you. I mean, unless you want to go with a Baylor or one of those other teams, but you know, West Virginia or Texas, but we're gonna roll with Texas. I'm gonna roll with Texas. You can roll with whoever you want. Now, okay, let's go on up to the Big Ten. Let's put somebody in there other than Ohio State. And recently we saw Michigan in there. So let's take Michigan and Ohio State out of the picture. Who would you put in from the Big Ten? Me, I'm gonna go with Penn State. They're a pretty good program. Plus, there's the history with the Manny Diaz ordeal and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind playing them in the playoffs and seeing our offense wreck shop Manny Diaz's defense. You know, for me, I'm picking Penn State for biased reasons, but I think Penn State, as a program, they have that history to where it would be interesting. It would be interesting. People would watch. But if not Penn State, my backup plan for that conference might not even shock you at all. Nebraska. Yes, I'm going with Nebraska here. Miami has history with Nebraska. Pretty good history too. So, yeah, there you have it. But if I had to pick one and not just, have a backup, I'm going to go Miami, USC, Texas, Penn State. That'll be my playoffs without the SEC. Now, let's just say we do get that. Man, I think that'll be the biggest parity in college football. If you were to have a year without an actual SEC team making it. Now, in order for that, it can happen. Don't get me wrong, it can happen. But you would have to have a lot of SEC teams beat up on each other throughout the season to where, these teams crack the top 10, crack the top 4, and boom, there's an SEC team maybe sitting right outside of the college football playoffs. Personally, I don't think it'll happen. I'm not that crazy, I do believe that the SEC would go nuts, go crazy, probably try to start a riot or a ruin if they didn't make it into the playoffs at least one year. But that's my 4. Once again, Miami, USC, Texas, and Penn State. Let me know what 4 teams would you guys put in your own college football playoffs. This is more like a fantasy playoffs deal. Now, also, I'll do this in a separate video. We'll talk about another playoff fantasy, but this time we'll actually involve the SEC and see where we go from there. Anyways, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you ain't already. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Hammer game. Because we always hit the nail on the head.